Okay, so I think we'll kick off and people can continue to join as we go. But firstly, a big welcome to everybody that's joined our webinar this morning. My name is Gary from AllGo MasterCard, and today, like I said, we're going to be discussing the physical versus digital MasterCard gift cards for the small benefit scheme and all the sort of related questions that people might have around that. I'm joined today by two colleagues of mine, Sorka and Laura, and I'm going to introduce them in just 1 second, and they're going to be here to answer any detailed questions that people have. Just in terms of the content for today, we're going to do a quick round of introductions, and then we're going to move on to a quick overview of the small benefit scheme, just to go over basic rules again. Then we'll get into the meat of the webinar, MasterCard physical versus digital. We're going to talk about the ordering process as well. That should take no more than 30 minutes, and then we're going to get straight into a Q&A. So any questions you have, feel free to shoot them into the Q&A section at any stage, but we'll answer them all at the end if that's all right. So without any further ado, just a little bit of introduction about ourselves. AllGo MasterCard, it's used by 10,000 Irish companies every year. So we're one of the leading B2B gift card providers for rewarding employee small benefit scheme. The MasterCard was launched in 2016. We're based in Dublin. We have 35 employees. We're a guaranteed Irish company, 10,000 gift card clients, and we have a number of sister brands as well. Amplify, which is actually a new brand for our technology platform, which is going to be rebranded and relaunched next week. So we're very excited about that. And we have our original brand, our original gifting website, allgifts.ie, which is still used by a good number of companies and individuals coming up to Christmas time. Like I said, the panel today is myself, and I'm very happy to be joined by Laura Morrissey, who is in charge of all the orders that pass through our operations throughout the year. So she has a big team behind her for corporate orders. Hi, Laura.
Hi, everyone.
And we've got Sorka, who is in charge of customer service, which is sort of actually more than customer service. It's corporate comms. It's everything to do with the communications that we try to organize in terms of both inbound queries that we get from corporates and from card holders, and the outbound communications that we build into our system to try to keep everybody updated on their orders, etc., as we go along. So Sorka and Laura will be answering questions later on. But we're going to kick off today with just a quick recap on the small benefit scheme. So as everybody knows, the small benefit scheme allows Irish employers to reward employees based in Ireland up to 2 times a year in non-cash benefits to a combined total of €1,000, which means that there's no PRSI, employer-employee, no universal social charge, and no income tax. So it's a huge saving. Depending on what way you look at it, it's at least €633 tax per employee if you're on the higher rate of tax. And so a very, very worthwhile scheme to look at. The first scheme that companies are looking at really in Ireland when it comes to rewarding their staff. And the €1,000 only became €1,000 a few years ago. Before that, it was 500. Before that, it was 250, and before that, it was €100 when this scheme started off over 20 years ago now. One of the big rules is that there's no cash. You can't process this through payroll. You've got to give it as a non-cash benefit. It can be anything you want it to be. Normally, that means it's a gift card. And what more and more companies are looking to do now is to give gift cards for multiple retailers, or in our case, a MasterCard gift card, which is open loop. You can spend it anywhere. You're not allowed to do salary sacrifice. You can't take somebody's salary, deduct it, and then give them a tax-free gift card. That's not allowed. And new in 2024, since the start of this year, there's a thing called enhanced revenue reporting, which covers a small number of employee expenses that companies pay for their staff. And one of those expenses is the small benefit scheme. So now when you give a gift card to an employee on the small benefit scheme, you need to report that to revenue. And you do that normally through your payroll. It's non-taxed. It's just a reporting requirement. It happens automatically through payroll normally. But it needs to be done in the month that you give a gift card to employees. So a little bit more bureaucracy this year than there has been before, but those are the rules if you want to be tax compliant and if you want to avail of the small benefit scheme. Okay, quick poll. what I just want to ask everybody, just to get the ball rolling here, is how many people, let me launch this here, how many companies are people on the call? I assume people are interested in the small benefit scheme. I just want to know how many of the participants today are interested in, are definitely going to be giving gift cards on the small benefit scheme between now and the end of the year, or are considering it. Maybe they're maybes, or if there's any no's. Yeah, quick poll would be great to find out. And we can share the results then when everybody has voted. So interesting figures coming through here. Give it a few more seconds. Lots of people participating, 85% participation rate. Glad to see it. Anyone else? Okay. All right, we'll leave it at that, 90% participation rate. So the results, not surprising, I guess 77% of the participants today on the call are definitely going ahead with small benefit gift cards between now and the end of the year. 6% are definitely not, and there's 17% who are maybe. So, you know, this is today to, I guess, to inform yourself and your companies what it's all about. And you might have more questions about the small benefit scheme than the MasterCard. That's okay. 77% of the people, not surprisingly, are in the market for gift cards for their company between now and the end of the year. So, AllGo MasterCard gift card, what is it? To those of you who don't know, and perhaps we have a number of returning customers as well, it's a universal gift card. You can spend it in store, you can spend it online, you can spend it abroad, you can spend it anywhere that MasterCard is accepted. So depending on what website you read, that's either 37 or 45 or 50 million merchants worldwide. So it's an open loop card, as it's known in the industry, and very, very flexible spend. There are some restrictions on it. You can't spend it on things like gambling. You can't spend it on utilities. You can't spend it on subscription services, and you can't transfer money from it into your Revolut or your PayPal account. That's not allowed. There's also some countries where you can't spend it that are on the restriction list and the sanctions list. So, you know, it's not universally everywhere, but it's probably 36.5 million places you can spend it. That's more than enough for most people. It's a single load card and it's non-ATM. So you load it once. If you want to give another gift card later on in the year or next year, it's a new gift card. Non-ATM, you can't go to the ATM and take cash out on it. Otherwise, it wouldn't qualify for the small benefit scheme. And there are two formats of AllGo MasterCard. There's the physical card, which you can spend in store by swiping through the POS system and signing, and online by registering the card for 3D secure, so that when you go to online checkout, you can verify the purchase. Then we have Digital Plus, their second format. You can spend it in store by adding it to Google Pay and Apple Pay on your mobile wallet and then just tapping it. And you can spend it online the same way. You just register the numbers again for 3D secure. So getting into a little bit more detail now on the MasterCard Physical. These physical cards are presented in a DL envelope with the employee's name displayed in the window on the front and the card value printed on the inside of the card carrier. So you can see the person's name on the outside through the window, but you can't see the amount. That can only be seen when you open the envelope. You order it online at allgogiftcard.com, allgo.ie. We're changing over to allgogiftcard.com next week, but I'll talk about that later on. And you must upload a spreadsheet of recipients. So there's a template where you have to upload the names of the people that you're giving the cards to. This is a new regulatory requirement that came in 12 months ago. Before that, you didn't need to upload names. You could just give out the cards sort of anonymously, but that's gone now. We need regulatorily the names of the people who are getting the cards, but that also is coincidentally the same thing you need when you're doing your enhanced revenue reporting. So now to give one of these cards out for revenue and for the regulations, you need to declare who you're giving the cards to. So no anonymous cards allowed anymore. There's branding options, so you can personalize the message that's printed on the card carrier, which is the wallet that goes inside the envelope. You can put your color company logo on the outside of the card envelope. You can brand up the whole card carrier, which is the wallet that the card is presented in. And you can even order a branded greeting card, like a separate DL size card with your Christmas message on it, and send that out branded to all of your employees as well. Delivery, the normal delivery is in bulk by overnight courier. So we can batch the cards by your manager, by department, or we can send it to each of your business addresses. Each of the deliveries goes out via DPD courier and you get it next day. You can also have individual delivery, which is where you give us the names of the employees and their addresses, and we post out the cards securely to each of their home addresses. And the final option is a portal delivery, where we can set you up with a portal where your employees can log in, put in their own delivery address, and order the card for deliveries themselves that way. So that's the MasterCard Physical. MasterCard Digital Plus works slightly differently. It's emailed out to individuals, so directly to the recipients. It can't be emailed to the company. It goes directly from the system out to the individual recipients. Again, you don't need a mobile wallet, and then they can use that on their mobile wallet to spend in store, or they can register it for 3D Secure and spend it online. We don't need a mobile number. A few years ago, we needed to get a mobile number in addition to the email address. Now we just need an email address to be able to send out Digital Plus cards. Again, same way, you order it on our website and you upload a spreadsheet of recipients. There's one order form for Digital Plus. There's a separate order form for Physical, but it's all on our website. You can download the template for each one. The branding options with Digital Plus are, the normal one is a personalized message, so you can decide what message you'd like to go out with the email that's sent with the card. But you can also have a completely branded email as well that goes out the day before and sort of gives people instructions and about what to do with the card, and can have all your nice branding on it as well. And the delivery, like I said, is directly to the individual recipient. So quick comparison table. So I'm going to go down through this pretty quickly, but this gives you the quick overview. Physical and digital, can you spend it in store? Yes. Physical, you swipe and sign. Digital Plus, you tap once you've added it to Google Pay and Apple Pay on your wallet. You cannot add the physical card to Google Pay and Apple Pay. Don't ask me why. It's not possible at the moment. I hope in the future it will be, but for now, it's a completely separate rails, completely separate system. Spend online, yes. 3D Secure in both cases, and you can take the card numbers and spend those online. Spend abroad, where that accepts MasterCard. Like I said, there are a couple of exceptions, but pretty much you can spend this anywhere in the world that accepts MasterCard. Delivery options, physical is bulk delivery normally by courier, individual delivery by post and order portal, and Digital Plus, email directly to recipient. Express delivery option is yes in both cases. And I will go a little bit more into what that means a little bit further on. The branding options, like I said, 4 branding options for physical. So there's more branding opportunities with the physical than for the digital, not surprisingly, I guess. And then lead times, 1 to 5 days from payment receipt for physical, because it's overnight courier, 1 day less for digital, 0 to 4 days. So it depends on, and that is from payment receipt. So you can get it within, say, 1 day. If you pay the invoice for Digital Plus, you'll get the cards the next day. So that's like 1 day delivery, or if, you know, from when you've actually ordered, if you pay immediately, and it takes 1 day longer for the physical cards to be delivered. Card activation. So every recipient for the physical card activates their card on our portal, AllGo Get My Balance, which is on our website. And the digital card works differently. You get an email sent to you with a link to download an app. You download that app to your mobile phone, and that's where you activate your Digital Plus card. Card balance then is the same way. You do it either on your portal or through the app if it's Digital Plus. And reloadable, no, you can't load. We can't reload any of these cards. They're single load only. So quickly, the ordering process. There's 6 steps. It sounds a bit daunting, but hopefully it is logical, at least, even if there's a little bit of a process involved. So step 1, place your order online, allgogiftcard.com, and you upload a spreadsheet of employees, and you can download the template from the website, from the order form directly. Step 2, you pass security checks. We are obliged to check all new and existing customers, make sure they're not on the naughty list, and that all happens in the background. We have to do these, what's known as KYB. So we do the KYB checks. It happens automatically. Normally, you don't hear anything about it. You just pass the KYB based on your CRO number, and then you know you passed it because we send you an invoice. We can't send you an invoice for the gift cards until you pass KYB, but you don't need to do anything. unless we come back to you and there's a problem, and in which case we may need to ask you for additional information, but it happens very, very rarely. You pay the invoice, and you pay the invoice by bank transfer. That's really important. We have a system where every client is allocated an individual IBAN. It's a routing IBAN. What it means is that you get an IBAN on your invoice, which is different to everybody else's. And the reason for that is that it routes the funds virtually into a wallet just for your cards. And even though the funds are kept together in a settlement account in Ireland, your funds can only be loaded on your cards, on your orders. So it's a security thing. But those IBANs are German or Danish IBANs. Doesn't mean that the money resides there, it doesn't, but it means the routing happens through a company that provides individual IBANs and happens to be located in Germany or in Denmark. So don't be surprised you get that on your invoice and you need to set that up for just normal SEPA payments. We get the money the next day on your card. Once we get receipt of the funds, automatically you get an email to confirm that the payment has been received, and automatically we start processing cards. If it's digital or physical, immediately we get the payment, we'll start working on it. You get the cards then by delivery, if it's physical, by email, if it's digital, and there are activation instructions with each. So the individual person must activate their card. Physical card, the person goes on to the portal, which all the instructions are there with the card. You need to put in the name, your name, which is the same name that the company gave us. It's your last name. That's important. The other piece of information you need is an activation code. Every order has its own activation code. We email the activation code to the contact in the company who has ordered the cards. That person needs to send on the activation code to everybody. Now, that's a real belt and braces security feature to make sure that the cards that you ordered for the people you ordered them for are actually activated and used by those people. And it works very well, but you do need the name, the last name, you do need the activation code. Causes a little bit of confusion when it came in last year. Digital cards are a little bit easier. You just need the email address that you receive the cards to. That is in effect, your activation code. Lead times. Standard orders, we commit to process your standard order within 4 working days of invoice payment receipt. So you order the cards on a Friday, you pay straight away. We get the money on Monday. We got 4 days, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. The cards will be dispatched on Friday. You'll have them the following Monday. That's our standard lead time. We normally beat it, but that's what we work to. And as we get nearer to Christmas, it gets more and more challenging for us to process the volume of orders that come through as standard orders. But just bear in mind that is the standard lead time. Express orders are processed for dispatch within 24 hours of payment receipt. So we will then guarantee that once we get the money on the Monday, that we will have those cards dispatched on Tuesday, either by overnight courier. So if it's physical, you'll get it on Wednesday, or if it's digital, you'll receive it on the Tuesday. It's €1 extra per card for express orders, but that's what it gets you. It gets you quicker lead times. So we have a new website going live, like I said, on Monday, Tuesday next week. So previously, if you were ordering cards, you went to allgo.ie, and if you were using your card, you would end up on allgogiftcard.com. We're putting everything into one website. AllGoGiftCard.com is going to be the one website where you go to order cards, to get information about ordering cards, all the pricing, and for your employees, they go there to learn about how to activate their cards, use their cards, contact customer service, anything they need. It's all going to be under one purposely designed website, which we're excited about because it's going to be a lot clearer, we think, for people to get the information they need when they need it. And so that's it. 22 minutes, that's a new record. I've whizzed through a load of information there, and now I guess we're going to open it up to the floor just to see what questions there are. If you can put the questions into chat as disabled, sorry about that. So we're just using Q&A. So anybody that has a question, if you put it into Q&A now, I'll go down through it, and we will, between myself, Sorka and Laura, we will answer the calls over the phones. So is lead time extended during very busy periods, run up to Christmas? Laura, what do you think about that?
No, we still stick to the standard 4-day lead time. So obviously the closer that we get into December and the busier it gets, we would be closer to the full 4 days taking us to process the orders. But as Gary said earlier, we are a little bit quicker at the moment getting the orders out, but still to the 4-day lead time at Christmas.
Yeah. I guess it's important to say that, lead times are not guaranteed. I think, we receive about 70% of our orders at the end of the year, and we can get as much as 2,000 orders in a day. So we try very, very hard. We work 7 days a week, 12 hours a day, coming up to Christmas. But there's a period which we call the red zone. Red zone starts on the 9th of December. And if you order cards on or after the 9th of December, you're in the red zone. And we still aim to satisfy the standard lead times. But if you're looking to speak to someone, or if you're looking for a very quick email answer, or you're looking to change your order, it gets very, very difficult, and you will not get an immediate response. So we simply say to everyone, look, get your order in early. Get it in before the 9th of December for definite. But we say it every year, people don't do it. You will get a better service before the 9th of December than you will afterwards. Not in terms of the delivery times necessarily, but in terms of the support and the questions you might want to ask around your order. And there is not much we can do about that, to be quite honest with you. But we try to make the process better and easier every year. So I've got a question about problems with the digital card last year. Customer service and dealing with these issues was awful. What measures have you put in place to mitigate these issues and lack of customer service? Yeah, I fully agree. There were problems last year with the digital cards because the issuing bank, EML, changed their systems in November against our express wishes and requests not to do it, but they did it anyway. So there were orders messed up last year. Now, have we ironed out all those problems? Yes, but is the system going to be error-free this year? I don't know. So I think what I would say to you is the Digital Plus cards do work very well. People like them, especially if they're sort of like technology savvy and they want to go in and get tap their card as opposed to spend it maybe one off on a big item or spend it in the supermarket. But get your order in early. I would say that I can hand on heart say that we've put a lot of effort in to try to iron out all of the technical issues that are there, and it is a better product than it was last year. We won't have the same issues with the systems being changed so late in the year. However, there's constantly changes being made in the back end, and the only way to ensure good service and to smooth operation is not to leave it to the last minute when everybody is stressed out. But I would recommend, if you did Digital Plus last year, I wouldn't recommend you change to physical this year, because I think if you've gone through the pain once of getting people educated and going through the whole process once, I think it's easier. It will be a lot easier this year. Keith has a question, I think maybe for you, Laura or Sorka. I recall you can pass faster the KYB check if ordered cards in the past. Is this still the case? Do I still order online?
Yeah, I can answer that one. So if you passed our KYB check before, you won't have to go through it again. It just runs, as Gary said before, it runs automatically in the background. So the majority of our clients won't even notice that there is a KYB check. We fulfill it on our side. But in the odd instance that we do need extra information, we'll reach out directly to the card purchaser. But 9 times out of 10, if you ordered before, you won't be subject to the checks again.
Okay. Another one maybe for you, Laura. Can you talk about activation code process for digital cards? Does the employer need to send individual activation codes to employees for digital cards?
No. So that's just for our physical cards. So for digital, I'll just talk about that first. We get the email address for every employee that you want to send the card to, and then it's just as simple as downloading the Get the eCard app, or Get My eCard app, sorry, and popping in the employee's email address, and they'll do that themselves, and putting in a password, and they'll be sent a verification code, and that's all that is to activate their card. Is just based off their email address. The physical card is a little bit different, and we'll issue a code to the card purchaser, and they can relay that to their clients or to their employees. So for the digital cards, there's no activation code. It's just solely based off their email address.
Okay, very good. Can we order several cards with different amounts at the same time?
Yeah, can do. So it starts at €5 is the smallest denomination for digital and €10 for physical. But you can do any amount for any card.
It's just on the spreadsheet you upload with the names of the staff when you're putting the order through. You have sort of first name, last name, and then amount, and the amounts can be different for every person. What is the expiration date on the physical cards?
I can take this one. So in general, the physical cards have a 5-year expiration date, but you will be able to see the valid through date on each individual card.
That's great. We didn't talk about fees. There's a question here about what are the fees when purchasing the card. There is a basic fee, card charge, and then there's delivery and optional extras. But the basic fees are from €5 for physical cards down to €0 depending on the size of the order. So €5 if you're ordering up to, I think, €2,000 worth of cards. It's €0 if you're ordering over €200,000 worth of cards in one go. For digital, it's an extra euro, so it's €6 for up to €2,000, sliding down to €1 if you're ordering over €200,000 worth of cards at the one time. So all of the fees are listed on our website very clearly before you go and place your order. At the same time, I need to place a separate order. So that is in relation to different amounts. No, you can order different amounts on the same order, one order with one spreadsheet. You can put it through. What would the full cost of ordering 2 by €50 vouchers be? Well, I guess I can answer that. If they're physical cards, you're going to be charged 2 by €5. Correct me if I'm wrong, guys, which is €10. And then the delivery by overnight courier is €15. So those €250 is funds of €100 plus 5 plus 15, so that's €25. Am I right there? Yeah, €25 is what it will cost you. So
excluding
obviously
VAT.
Excluding VAT, correct. So obviously if you have more cards, the delivery stays the same. Up to 100 cards, it's €15. Over 100 cards, it is €25. So is it still a one-for-all process, or can we give employees the choice as to whether they want digital or physical? Thanks. So you can order, you can place an order for physical and you can place an order for digital at the same time. And some companies do. So you have to come to us and say, right, I want 50 physical with these, here's the spreadsheet for those people, and I want 50 digital plus cards, and here's the email addresses for those. So that's how you do it. You'd sort it out within your own company and then just come to us and say what you want. And it would be processed as 2 separate orders, but you know, it could be coordinated between the two. If we have a number of cards, can they see the balance of each? Zorka?
Yeah, absolutely. So our new cardholder website, allgo.getmybalance.com, was launched in October of last year. And there, once cardholders set up their account, they can add as many cards as they like, either from before October 2023 or after, and they'll be able to see the balances and transactions all in one place on their account.
Okay, great. If they have a number of cards, can they see the balance of each card?
Yep, so they can see all of the card balances if they're all registered to their one account.
Yeah, so what you do is you open up an account. You have to open an account to activate your card if it's a physical card, and then your cards keep getting added to that one account, so you can see all your cards and you can see all the balances on each one. It's pretty easy. Also, for the app, you can add multiple cards and you can see all the balances and transactions for each card. You just swipe through them. In terms of customer preferences, what is the attraction of the physical card versus the digital? Does the balance on the card reduce if not used? So the attraction of the physical card is that, number one, you can give it, as a company, you can give it in person to staff, which some people prefer to do. It's more personal that way rather than just receiving an email with your digital card. For some people, I mean, the physical card is the traditional gift card like you've got, like you've had from any retailer, from Smith's, from Arnott's, from whoever. You go in, you know those cards, how they work, you swipe them through the till. It's sort of a tried and trusted, and everybody understands how they work, sort of thing. The digital card is different. You can email it out, so get a little bit faster, but a little bit less personal. And then you add it to your wallet if you want to spend it in store. So, slightly different experience. Some people prefer it, some people don't. It's really up to the company to decide for their employees which one is best. Does the balance reduce if not used? Yes, the balance on physical and digital cards reduces after 13 months at €3 per month on any unused balance after 13 months until the card is run down completely. So that doesn't matter if it's physical or digital, it works the same way. Will you have a helpline for card recipients at Christmas? What is a guaranteed minimum waiting time for call answering? And that's in capital letters. And I'm going to say there is no guaranteed waiting time for call answering. You've got to understand that there can potentially be tens of thousands of people looking for support at the same time. We just cannot answer those calls. We have 40 people on the calls at Christmas, just before Christmas, and it is not sufficient in order to get everybody answered at one time. You call us before the 9th of December, you will get answered, you'll get your reply back. You send us an email, we always try to reply to emails within 24 hours, even during the red zone. You contact us after the 26th, 27th of December when we're back in the office, you'll get answered within the standard 30 seconds of time. But there's a 2-week period there where you're just not going to get answered. I would love to tell you differently, but it is not going to change, right? And I'm just being honest with you about that. That is the best we can do. But if we make last year there was a number of technical issues that somebody pointed out with digital cards. Less issues this year means less people with queries, which is great. People who've got cards last year, when they get them this year, the process isn't any different. So it was last year, it's not this year. So we're expecting less queries on the card holders. But just be aware that the 2 weeks before Christmas, after the 9th of December, it is going to be challenging. You will not get answered straight away. But you will get answered, and you will get an email sent back to you if you have a query. That's the best we can do.
And
question for you, Laura or Sorka: can cards be merged together?
Yeah, I just wanted to answer into the previous question as well. So as Gary said, we are launching a new cardholder website, completely revamped. All of the information has been fine-tuned, and we've gone through it with eagle eyes to make sure that the answers that we provide to help your recipients are the best. And there is comprehensive guides on everything that goes on with the cards. There's over 50 FAQs, so your recipients can get a quick answer. But obviously we'll still do our best. Rob, in relation to merging cards, unfortunately we can't facilitate that any longer. And I did also see another question further along about merging historical digital plus card balances with physical card balances. Unfortunately, given our new system, none of the cards can interact in that way, so you can't merge balances, unfortunately. But if you do have a few cents left on a certain card, you could always go into a store and ask for a split transaction and just take the remainder off one card, pay the rest with another payment method.
For digital cards, what if an employee doesn't have or doesn't want to use a smartphone? What options do they have for using digital cards? I think they don't have an option. You have to have a smartphone in order to use digital, because you can't activate it any other way. Am I right there?
Yeah, that's correct. If it does pop up that the odd employee says that they don't have the option of a smartphone, we can look at a replacement for a physical card. But just to make everyone aware as well, during December we don't actually issue replacement cards. So if you do know in advance that an employee doesn't have a smartphone or doesn't have access to add a card to their wallet, I would recommend doing a split order of maybe a physical order and digital cards, just to save the hassle afterwards of the employee not being able to use their gift card.
Yeah, so you can swap it for a physical card, but there's a process involved. And is there a charge involved?
Yeah, there'd be a €5 charge for that.
How much? Sorry.
A €5 charge.
€5 to change from a digital to a physical.
To physical. Yeah.
Are you sure? That's the charge? I thought it was more.
I can double check, but as far as I'm aware, it'd be a €5 charge for an unload of physical from a digital card to physical.
From a digital card to a physical.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, we might need to check that out and just come back to you after this on that.
Yeah.
I suspect it's more than €5, but anyway, there is a charge for it, but it can be done. For digital cards, what happens if the employee's email is hacked, as this can happen?
So the best case scenario is that obviously hacking doesn't happen, but that the employee has received their Digital Plus card email before any security breach has happened. When they are setting up their Digital Plus card, they are downloading an app onto their smartphone and they are creating an account in order to redeem the Digital Plus card. And during that process, they are asked to set their own account password that'll allow them to access their own digital cards securely. So if it was a case of that happening, provided that the card is already redeemed, no one would have access to the cards on that person's digital Get My eCard app.
And I wonder what happens on the card. Say you lose your phone, and like this applies to all apps. I guess you lose your phone, then you have banking apps, you have different apps on your phone. You've Get My Card app. I guess hopefully you've got security on your phone, but then you just have to get a new phone and then re-download the apps, and then you'll have the Get My eCard app with the balance still on it, I guess.
Yeah, so once you've created that account in the app to redeem your card, if you change phone or you lose your old phone, you would just download the app on your new phone and log into the same account.
Okay. Are there any branding options for digital cards? Yes. There's two. There's a personalized message and there's a branded email that can be sent out before the email with the actual cards are sent. So they're the two options. What are the fees? What are the admin fees between digital and physical cards? Any difference between the two? Digital card costs €1 more on a card charge, but otherwise and there's obviously no delivery with digital. There is with physical, and different optional extras which you may or may not want. If I place my order early November, do I need to notify revenue in that month, or do I do my reporting in December? So the answer to that is you report it on the month that you give the benefit to your employees. So if you order in November, no problem. If you give it to your employees in November, then you report it in November. If you give it to them in December, you report it in December. So it's to do with when you give the benefit to the employee. We don't have a CRO number as we are a credit union. Will this cause an issue when ordering, guys?
I can answer this one. So it may just delay your invoice just with the new system that we have set up. We do require a CRO number just for the KYB check that runs in the background to go ahead. If you don't have a CRO number, that's no problem. We could just, in the order form, you could just type in like 1234 or 000. And then on our end, it may just pop up as like an extra KYB check. But once we see that's like a credit union, sole trader, anything like that, we can do the work on our end, but it may just delay your invoice instead of it coming through within the half an hour or so or within the hour. It may just add an extra little lead time of a few extra hours onto it. But no, it won't cause an issue. It may just delay your invoice slightly by a few hours.
Okay, great. Regarding a customer service, can you get someone on the phone, or is it email and online bots? So yeah, we have phone, email, and we have a new chatbot this year, which we're hoping that will take some of the questions, some of the basic questions before people have to reach out and speak to somebody in person. We're recruiting 22 extra staff right now to be trained in place by the end of October, so that we have enough people to answer the calls and get the orders out the door. But again, I keep saying the same thing. 2 weeks before Christmas, if you ring us, the chances of getting through to someone immediately is slim to none. So at that time of year, you'd be better off sending an email and waiting for a reply, which will happen within 24 hours, or using the online bots, or as Sorka said, using the new resources that will be on the website, the new website that's going live next week. Can you transfer historical balances from physical cards to digital cards? Do we have that already?
Yeah, I think that's
merging.
Probably similar to merging. So no, unfortunately not.
Okay. If we order digital card in early December, can we specify a date for the staff member to receive the email? I know the answer to that. The answer to that is not currently, but it actually is a feature that is being developed at the moment. but it's not available today, and I couldn't guarantee that it'll be available by December. But there is a schedule send function that is being developed at the moment. I struggled with the spreadsheets last year, as I wouldn't be familiar with sheets. Is there any way around this?
I can answer that one. So at the moment, as we're a bit quieter, if it's a small order, you can submit it through email and we can take on filling that spreadsheet on your behalf. Obviously, when we get into December and it's that red zone kind of area, again with the emails and coming through, there will be a delay. So if you need us to manually fill in your spreadsheet, it will take longer for your order to be put through. It isn't too hard if you do have access. It's basically when you go into the order form, it just open it up. All you'll really need is like first name, last name, and amount. So it's not too much information that needs to be filled in. But again, if it's in our quieter time, you can give us a ring or pop us an email and we can give you a hand with filling it out either ourselves manually or talk you through the steps as well. But as we do get busier, and if you are manually sending that through email, it may just take a little bit longer to put through your order.
Okay, thanks for that. I missed one actually. Will the IBAN number on the invoice be the same IBAN number as last year? Do I need to set AllGo up on our banking system again?
I can do that one as well. No, if you've ordered off us before, it'll be the same IBAN. So the individual IBAN that your organization has been issued will be the same IBAN going forward as well. So no, you won't have to set us up again.
What employee information is required to order physical cards?
So for physical cards, it'd be your first name, last name, amount, and yeah, just basically that. And if you do, that's if you were getting a bulk delivery sent out to your office, like the order, all the cards are going to one place. But if you go for an individual delivery option, which is the employees being sent their cards individually, we will obviously just need their address as well. But for a basic order, it's just first name, last name, and amount.
Okay. Denise is asking, last year they received physical cards for people who already had an account. So they already received a card like in 2022, and then there was issues linking or accessing their account to add their new card in from 2023. Has that issue been sorted?
Yeah, so essentially, Denise, as mentioned, we did launch a brand new cardholder website for people to log in and check their balances in October 2023. So any accounts that were made prior to October 2023 were not transferred over. So that was just our standard procedure. But last year, so we had been advising people you'll need to create a new accounts, and we were working on that with them, and there won't be any changes again. So those people that got their new accounts set up in December 2023 or thereafter are good to use those same accounts this year.
Can you give a card to someone who is not an employee, and what is the revenue reporting requirement, if any? That's a very good question, and it's sort of above my pay grade. You can give a card to a non-employee, but whether that falls, it won't fall under a small benefit scheme because it's not an employee. Does it fall under the gift tax, which has a limit per year of €3,000? And does that apply to companies as well as individuals? If you're a company entity giving, certainly as an individual, I can give a gift to anyone else up to €3,000 tax-free in a year. Is that covered? I don't know. To be quite honest, that is a question for your accountant. And that's as much as I know about that. But definitely it's not small benefit. Can we order a mix of cards on the one spreadsheet depending on employee preference, digital versus physical?
No, they'd be separate order forms. So we'd have a digital order form and a physical order form. So it'd be two separate spreadsheets, just to avoid confusion or anything like that.
But you could probably just, if you come in early, you could probably email us the two spreadsheets and we can process it for you, but you can't have them on the same sheet because there's different information required for each one. Can you have more than one card on the Get My eCard app? Yes, you can. You have as many cards as you've got as you receive on the app. Is there an expiry date on the digital card? Yeah, it's the same as physical. It's 5 years minimum. Do card amounts do they decrease after the first year? Yes, they do. €3 per card per month maintenance fee after 12 months on any unused balance. That's both on the physical and the digital card. if a card is not spent, oh yeah, so that started using the same question. Do your cards work for people under the age of 18?
So at account registration, which all employees or card recipients need to do in order to activate their cards, it does require someone over the age of 18 to complete that registration process. So if there is like a parental supervision or guardian that can assist them with that and maybe create the account under their credentials and their birth date, obviously then supervise the use of the card, then that should be fine. But the form won't accept anyone under the age of 18.
Okay, thank you. Keith says, I have encountered payment machines, so POS machines, that did not have a swipeable option at the side of the machine. When I put the physical card into the slot, it requests a PIN. Does the physical card get supplied with a PIN? Because I do not recall having one.
So in the scenarios where there isn't the swipe facility on the card machine, and it also occurs in European countries such as Portugal and Spain, sometimes you may be required to insert the card. Technically, this shouldn't work because there is no chip in the card. It is just a magnetic strip on the back of it. But if you are asked for a PIN, the PIN would either be 0000 or the last 4 digits of your long card number.
Okay, can we, as the employer, see if each card has been activated?
So unfortunately, that's not possible.
It's a short answer. No, so you can't see once the card has been activated. Okay. If you order digital cards, email saying that they have been delivered to each individual.
Yeah, when an order is fulfilled, we send an email ourselves just to let you know that the order's been dispatched, and that would mean that each individual has been emailed their card. Yeah, so you will get an email notification of that.
Is this webinar recorded so I can look at it later? Yes, it is recorded, and everybody that's registered will get a link to the recording today or tomorrow. How do you notify revenue? I think this is for enhanced revenue reporting. The normal way is through your company. So whoever does your payroll will normally do the reporting. So I know how it works in our company is that when we give out a gift card to our employees, there's just a column in the payroll spreadsheet that we send to our payroll provider, and the column says, you know, small benefit, and we say, yeah, we gave that person a €200 card, and that then appears on their payslip. It's not taxed or anything, but that appears on their payslip and then is notified. It is automatically reported into revenue. So revenue then match the employer with the employee and the small benefit amount, and that's all they do. They don't do anything with it right now at the moment, but they want to start recording that information. So that's normally through your payroll provider. So that's where I would start. So I missed the start. Can you briefly tell me about the small benefit scheme? What's the difference between this and the MasterCard? Well, the small benefit scheme, very quickly, is the Irish revenue scheme where you can give a reward to staff tax-free up to €1,000. And the MasterCard is one of the most popular ways of availing of that scheme. So you can give €1,000 worth of flowers or a hamper, and that can fit under the small benefit scheme as long as it's a non-cash benefit. But most companies now want to give their employees something that is, very near to cash, but is not cash. And for that, the open loop MasterCard gift card is one of the, if not the most popular choices. It's one of the most popular choices out there for companies to make use of the small benefit scheme. But I would say that the small benefit scheme, in terms of popularity, has really increased since COVID and since the cost of living crisis. It's really become part of the fabric of Irish business and Irish employers, all shapes and sizes and all types of companies and non-profit companies and semi-state and state companies. It's very, very widely used now, much more so than it was 5 years ago. So that concludes the question and answers. We've been here for 50 odd minutes, and I really want to thank everyone for taking part. We will be sending out the recording of this webinar tomorrow, so you can recap on stuff. And, on our website, you'll be able to download a whole guide to the small benefit scheme. We'll be updating that next week after the budget. The budget's happening on the 1st of October. There'll be an updated small benefit scheme guide. That will be available for free download on our website. There will be an updated MasterCard gift card brochure that you can download with all the facts and all of the pricing. That'll be available from next week on as well. Again, on our new website, and we let people know about the new website when it goes live next week. If you click on allgo.ie, you'll just be redirected to our new site from next week on. I want to thank you again for attending this webinar. We will be running another webinar in about a month's time on the 24th of October, which will look in much more detail specifically at the small benefit scheme and any changes that have come into place from the budget 2025, which has been announced next week. So I hope you'll join us for that. And in the meantime, I want to thank my panelists, Sorka and Laura, and I definitely want to thank all of the participants today for taking time out to join us. It's been a very educational for us as well to see what people are asking, and we'll hopefully reflect some of those points that you raised. We'll reflect them very clearly on our new website as well. So thanks again. I hope you have a great day and a great weekend, and hopefully we'll see you soon. Bye bye.
Thanks, everyone.